he's still there, sort of.
Well, it's
dangling
like
out.
a specialist. It's a specialist sort of synth tip, I think.
There are bits of it I really like. I liked at the beginning of that one where they all came alive because of what.
I'll tell you who I
done.
thought was really good of the new cast members, and she's in this second episode as well. Josie Lawrence as the marriage counsellor.
Yeah, that was a bit left field. I half expected Minty from EastEnders to pop up.
That's a really obscure one. I half expected Paul Merton and Ryan Stiles and Colin Mock.
Richard Branch on the piano.
Yeah. And Mike McShane. I can't remember.
A lot of our references are so uncontemporary. They may be missed by a lot of people. Whose line is it anyway?
Get on all four. You can watch them all on there.
Know. Can you really? That's what I'll be doing now. I will catch up with Humans. I will.
But they do have another scene with Josie Lawrence where Tom Gumman-Hill goes, now do it in a Welsh voice. Now do it in a Scottish voice. And it did feel like, whose line is it anyway?
Yeah, just to do it.
I suppose it's a bit like Rebecca Front in the last series. And I don't like the fact they killed her off because I thought she had a lot of potential.
No, they gave her not enough to do.
No, and I think that was one of our criticisms of Series 1.
Yeah. So
it's one of those where all the pieces, you have to wait for all the sort of pieces to fall into place. The only bit I'm not massively keen on is Mia in the cafe by the seaside.
No, I didn't. I didn't like the cafe when it was on Sky.
And you find out that the mum of the she's got an ill mum, the guy who owns the cafe.
Yes.
It's played by Julian Batiste's wife from The Missing.
It's going to get confusing.
One thing, just going back to The Missing and that relationship between Batiste and his wife, does it really annoy you that they start speaking in French and then they speak in English for a bit? And then
I don't know why
speak
they
in
do
French
that.
And he'll speak in English or the other way around.
But surely his instinct would be to talk in French, but then he just goes,
English.
We'll do some...
But usually, one will reply in one language and one will answer in the other language.
Is that for our benefit, do you think?
No, because they go back into French again.
I don't know. We need to talk about this more seriously on perhaps its own podcast.
Lost in Translation.
I think both shows look fantastic. I think that is...
I would say
The Missing have in common.
This series of The Missing is a lot. I think the direction on this is a lot better than it was.
It looks slicker, doesn't it?
It's Ben Shannon of Cyberbully and The People Next Door, and I think he's got from those like the Cyberbullies and The People Next Door. He's got a very distinct style, a very sort of realistic style, hasn't he? And this sort of works well in sort of the stark scenes of the landscapes, the Swiss landscape, the sort of brutalness of the German landscape, the sort of you got that claustrophobicness when you went to Iraq with Julian and Andre.
Yeah, I just think it is fantastic.
When you were going through like the foxholes and stuff, when they were trying to follow Daniel Reed and stuff like that.
And I tell you what's also interesting about The Missing is and I remember feeling this during the first series, is when it starts and they're doing all the timeline stuff, it does get a little bit, 1 minute we're there, next minute we're here. And then by the time you're into the episode we're in now, it's just like you don't even care because you're so invested in what's going on, not only in the present but in the past as well.
I think as well,
it all just fits together.
It works a bit better this time because it's so near the two timelines. It's only 2 years apart, so you can do more with that, like the fact that...
But surely the timelines will drop away because it's going to be Derek Riddle being found out, isn't it? So that'll be in the present day.
Well, there are still some bits and bobs in... They're still trying to sort of... The murder of Henry Reed is another thing that they delve into in this fifth episode.
Why do we have to do this? Why can't I be watching this now, Matt, rather than talking to you about it?
Oh, and Roger Allam was just fantastic as well in this last episode.
He is amazing.
I think BAFTA for Roger Allam next year.
Yeah, he's going to be him versus Robbie Coltrane, you would think.
No, but he'd be supporting Roger Allam.
No, he wouldn't. He'd be in his own category. on the day of recording, it's Gogglebox night. And because Scarlett Moffat is going into I'm a Celebrity, they've removed the Moffats from this series of Gogglebox.
For now.
Yeah, but why? Why? Because surely it would be fascinating for us as Gogglebox viewers to watch Scarlett's mum and dad react to her being there. Why would they pretend they're not on the show? Why would they take them away?
She's the draw, I think, Scarlett. I think that's what they're saying. I think they think that nobody wants to watch the Moffats if Scarlett's not there. That's my understanding of it. I don't think they will show it. I think they're very... It's weird. They're very cautious to show any success. They want these to be like normal people, I think. I think that's what they want Gogglebox to be.
But we know Gogglebox is a huge hit. We saw them reacting to their BAFTA.
But I think they want to present sort of almost like their own history, their own mythology of it, don't they? Do you want to sort of mention I'm a Celebrity in the lineup and stuff like that?
Yeah, it's kind of underwhelming. My mum asked me the other day who was going in, and I could only think of Scarlett.
Larry Lamb.
I can think of less people now. Larry Lamb.
Lisa Snowdon, Carol
Vorderman. Everyone else I don't really think she'll know.
Let's just run it down quickly. We've got Adam Thomas, who was in Emmerdale, he's in Emmerdale, but you'll know best from Waterloo Road, won't you?
Dante
from Waterloo Road. Jordan from Diversity, Ashley Banjo's brother.
I never knew he had a brother that was in Diversity.
Larry Lamb, of EastEnders, Gavin and Stacey, and the last series of New Tricks fame. Wayne Bridge, the footballer and husband of Frankie of the Saturdays. Lisa Snowden.
So contemporary.
Lisa Snowdon of modelling fame and dating George Clooney. Carol Vorderman, her the board, the numbers board. Ola Jordan of Strictly Come Dancing, the dancer, and she is Totty, I believe. Scarlett, who we've talked about. Sam Quek, who Luke will tell you all about.
Yeah,
she's a hockey player.
I was going to say that if you give me a bit more time.
Olympic hockey player. And who am I missing out? There's another bloke I'm missing out.
Joel
Joel Dommett, the least memorable of the group.
You prove that by not even remembering.
He's a comedian, apparently. He was in the last series of Skins, which nobody watched. He apparently is on that panel show, Bring the Noise, or Feel the Noise, or something.
Not coming back, or...
Yeah, he was on Nicole Scherzinger's team. He's done a lot of like panel shows and things. He's just another comedian, really.
But ITV throws a lot of money at this show. I'm sure they could get...
rumoured to be the late arrivals this year are Martin Roberts of Homes Under the Hammer fame and Danny Baker.
He has already said on Twitter maybe next year, but it was never on the cards this year.
Well, he said said that he's denied it on Twitter, but they've almost said, is that a put on? Because Chris Evans confirmed it, apparently, that he was doing it.
I would like to see Craig Charles back.
I still think Danny Baker's going to do it.
You're going to have egg on your face if he doesn't.
And you will if he does.
Oh, it's a double-edged sword.
So come back next week and one of us will have egg on our face.
For the whole podcast.
The Apprentice.
Still loving it. Where are you sitting?
On a sofa. But on The Apprentice...
God, it's funny without Gary, isn't it? It's banter. This is proper banter.
The Apprentice, last night, I always like the buying task. I think it's always a good task.
Why they made him do it at night, I don't know.
Well, it's a bit of a twist. I think just so we could see Claude's jumper, which was the star of the show for me. I don't know if you saw that last night. His like nice navy grandad jumper.
Yeah. Is Karen Brady getting more fed up by the Apprentice candidates as years go on? Or have they told her, just say what you see?
Well, I think you do, because like Nick Hewitt just did, didn't he?
Despaired. There is still some in there who the camera pans around and you go, who are they? I don't know what they do. I don't know what their names are. Mm-hmm. But the
Irish guy who looks like a evil villain. Yes. I can't remember. He's got an odd name, but I can't remember his name. The black guy, is it Henry? He was project manager last week. The Irish lady with the dark hair. There's quite a few, isn't there? Yeah. But now we're down to, what are we down to, like 10 or 11 now?
So we're kind of down to what The Apprentice used to start with.
So
years
have
ago
you got
is
any
what we're at.
favourites? Who do you think?
I mean, I'm not watching it to see who wins.
No.
I'm watching it to see
But that's what
the mess
I
they
think.
get
That's
into.
what I like to do because, as I said, like it's almost all rubbish this year. I think some people watch it for that, like you do and Gary does. But I do watch it to see people improve as well. And like last year, you saw Joseph, who was in the background but did something every week and eventually went on to win it. And same with Varney. You saw the improvement. You saw them learning from their mistakes, and it doesn't seem.
I think in a funny way, Karthik could do that this year.
Yeah, Karthik, I think, has learned from his mistakes, has toned himself down a bit, I think. He certainly stopped being as sort of angry as he was.
The key to winning or to being on The Apprentice for as long as possible is to be able to turn your hand to the majority of things you get given to do and be enthusiastic about it. And in a funny way, Karthik and Sofian are two examples of that. Yes,
Sofian's a bit bouncy
out the window. He's a bit bouncy. You want him to sit still for a minute.
Yeah.
But he's very keen, and he did take a good picture out that window
of
the show.
As well, we don't know what the business plans are, and I think occasionally you get the impression that he keeps people on whose businesses he likes. I
think Karthik is a hair grooming business. He's going to shave people.
Who was the one who does novelty toys? It was the winning project manager last night, wasn't it? Courtney.
Weird he is.
Who looks like a sickly child in a Victorian novel.
He really does. That was poetic. That was really poetic. Okay, so The Apprentice is on 9 o'clock on Thursday.
Shall we talk...
We're now at the midway point, actually, of The Apprentice.
Should we talk X Factor briefly, or should we not bother?
I'd be interested to know why you haven't been doing a Strictly this year on the podcast. Is it just that it isn't as
I thought you
enjoyable this year?
I'm still watching it.
I will. I enjoyed doing
I think the levels of skill are definitely better. It's just been an odd year. Watch with people like Will Young leaving, people getting like Tamika Epsom was ill when she lost the dance off. Anastasia couldn't dance in the first week in the dance off. Ed Bulls is still there, but we knew that. We knew he'd be there.
Is he genuinely the Honey G of Strictly?
No,
or is
he's just like Anne Widdecombe when she was on. She was the Honey G. He's basically like whatever he's in. I'm guessing he's in his 50s, a 50-something-year-old man who's spent most of his life sitting behind a desk, suddenly being asked to dance lots of dances, and that's exactly what he looks like. And he did do well this week, actually, in his quick step. He has actually got quite a lot of personality to him, and I think that's come out on... You saw him on the Bake Off, though, didn't you?
I did, yes.
I think it's unfair when Strictly has a lot of like people who are singers and dancers and actors, and pitting them against people like Ed Bulls and Judge Rinder, who haven't any performance experience before.
So who's going to win this year then?
I don't know, because Ore Aduba, who was of the BBC Breakfast fame, he was doing really well, but was in the dance-off this last week. So it's one way you can't second guess it. I'll tell you who I would like to win, and might be an odd choice, but Judge Rinder I think would be a good choice this year because he's improving every week. He's taking it seriously. He needs to get that stupid grin off his face. But apart from that, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that Louise stays to the final because me and you obviously had a massive crush on her. And Luke, in movies week, she did the Flashdance dance.
I might be going on YouTube for that.
And this week she did a steamy Argentine tango, as Tess Daly would say. But yeah, X Factor, which I am doing the chart for.
I thought you do that.
The Four of Diamonds, who I thought were all right this week. But I thought
the one that's annoying me that's still there is that Ryan Laurie. Who...
Yeah, he's always at the bottom. I don't know if you see, but he's always at the bottom of my charts. Him and that Sam Lavery. I don't get the love. I don't get the love for her either.
I'm sort of in the habit of watching it.
Do you have anyone you'd like? I mean, we know Matt Terry's going to win, but
yeah,
who would you like to win of who's left?
Oh no, I genuinely don't care. I'm happy for him to win. But the thing is,
have you got a favourite? Have you got a favourite that you look forward to seeing, or
they make a lot of that 3 after midnight, 5 after midnight, or whatever they're called.
I
don't rate them at all.
They were top of my. I thought they were good the first 2 weeks, then rubbish the second 2 weeks, and they were good this week.
I always feel sorry for Dermot O'Leary because I know what a massive fan of music he is, and the things the